Hi, I'm Belle from France. Please like and subscribe. I'd lived in an orphanage ever since I could remember, but I was always curious about my parents, and I'd annoy the warden with my questions.
Are you an evil witch who took me from my parents because my hair has magic powers? Tell me now, or else. I heard about a girl whose parents were astronauts and they got stuck on the moon. Do you think my parents are there too?
Are you skipping class again? Why are you such a nuisance? There you are, Belle. So sorry, ma'am. I'll just take her away. Miss Vivian was our teacher and my best friend at the orphanage. She couldn't have children of her own and she was really attached to me. And I adored her. She could always get me to study by promising me to help me with my singing later.
I don't really need school because I'm going to be a famous singer one day.
Yeah, but there's no harm in having some options, right? My life at the orphanage was good, but when I turned 15, things took a wild turn. Miss V had told me about a talent show she'd applied to on my behalf, and I'd gotten an audition next week. But when my chance came, my nerves took over and I messed it up completely. Miss V tried consoling me, but I was just really disappointed with myself. As we were walking back home, I suddenly saw a masked guy running my way, with a lady yelling behind him. He took my bag. Please, stop him. Without another thought, I grabbed a trash can and threw it in the thief's way, making him trip over it. I snatched the bag from him before he managed to run away. As the woman came closer, my jaw dropped. She was a singer named Madeline, and I was a huge fan. OMG, Madeline, is it really you? I just love… No, don't touch me. You touched trash just now. Then she took her bag from me and walked off to her car without even saying thank you. Hey, you're so rude. Just because you're a celebrity, you think you can treat people like garbage? Some of the people watching us had started recording on their phones and booing Madeline. No, wait, I wasn't going to drive away. Sweetie, I'm sorry. I was just shaken because of that thief. Please, come in. I'll drop you wherever you want. I knew she was just being nice because of the angry mob, but she kept insisting. So I agreed, and she took us back to the orphanage. But the next morning when I went downstairs, I was surprised to see some kids gathered around Madeline. And she said she needed to talk to me privately. Hey, Belle, I have something to tell you. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just can't shake off my gut feeling. You see, 15 years ago, I had a daughter, but my career was just kicking off. So after birth, I left her at the hospital. What? I regretted the decision and tried looking for my baby, but I couldn't find her. And when I saw you yesterday, I noticed your green eyes, and we have the same hair color. I think you're my daughter. I know it sounds crazy, but would you agree to a DNA test? I was stunned, and I didn't believe it, but I gave Madeline a hair sample, and the next day, she returned with the DNA forms that confirmed we were a 100% match. Madeline, the famous singer, was my mom, and she wanted to readopt me. My head was just spinning, and Miss V made things worse. Belle, are you seriously thinking about going with that woman? She was so rude to you the day before, and now suddenly she's your loving mom? Something about her is off. I can feel it. Come on, she was stressed that day, and the DNA test shows she's my mom. I've always wondered who my parents are, and now I get the chance to know one of them, to have a family. I'm just supposed to let that go? I thought I was your family, and I can't let you go with her. I won't. You can't stop me, Miss V. This is hard for me too, but you're just being paranoid. Miss Vivian's eyes teared up, and she just walked off. Well, if she couldn't be happy for me, then fine. And I left with Madeline soon after. I couldn't help overhearing that woman, and she was being so weird and possessive about you. It's not normal. It's also not normal for a mom to abandon her child for her career. I may have agreed to come with you, but I haven't forgiven you yet. And Miss V loves me. Sweetie, I understand your anger, and I have a lot of making up to do. You want to be a singer, right? I will start by making that happen. Also, if Miss Vivian loves you, she should be happy you're getting a better life. I felt troubled, but then forgot everything when we reached Madeline's mansion. It was bigger than a mall. My assistant Juliet will show you to your room, and then I have an amazing spa day planned for us. Juliet wouldn't make eye contact with me, and after taking me to my room, she walked off without a word. Rude. But I couldn't help being excited that I was gonna live like royalty. I was hoping to get to know Madeline more, but the spa day was more of a makeover day. And the next thing I knew, I was being whisked off to a TV interview. Madeline, I'm not ready for this. I've never been on camera and I need time to process everything. What's there to process, love? You're the daughter of a star, and you need to believe it. And I just can't wait for the world to see my angel. Also, could you please call me Mom? The next few weeks were a blur of interviews and events, and we were constantly surrounded by paparazzi. Madeline would always get so emotional, and people just loved the story of how we'd been reunited after all these years. But I still didn't know much about my mom. We hardly got the chance to be alone, and she hadn't even heard me sing yet. Late one night, I went down to the kitchen when I heard loud voices from Madeline's studio in the basement. Juliet, you don't sound good on this song at all. Well, I'm sorry, but I had a cold that day. We're just gonna have to record it again. And when I heard Juliet singing, I nearly had a stroke. That was Madeline's voice. Just then, Madeline spotted me, and she asked me to come in. I guess there's no point in trying to hide anything now. Belle, you've discovered the family secret. Wait, Juliet's been the voice behind all your songs? Yes, she wanted a steady job, and I wanted to be famous, but wasn't as talented. So we struck a deal at the start of my career. It worked out splendidly. So you've been taking the credit for her talent and fooling all your fans? That's just wrong. Excuse me, I didn't ask for your opinion. Okay, so I'm not completely honest with my fans, but either way, I still entertain millions. You're too naive to understand all this, and you're certainly not allowed to tell anyone. Do you hear me? Maybe Miss V was right about her. If she could lie about such a big thing, who knew what else she was lying about? Honey, I want to apologize for the way I spoke to you, and I got you the latest iPhone. This doesn't make up for it. I've always admired you as a singer, and now I find out it's all fake, and no one will ever know it's Juliet. Belle, do you know what it's like to really want something, but everyone tells you you can't have it? I always dreamed of being a singer, but my family said I wasn't good enough, and I just wanted to show them. Juliet willingly signed the contract, and I've always paid her generously. I'm not trying to hurt anybody, I guess. As long as you're paying Juliet well and treating her nicely, I can keep your secret. That's my girl. And no interviews tomorrow. We'll have a movie night. Just you and me. The next evening, while we were watching a movie, I turned to Madeline. Do you have some skin cream? My birthmark is really itchy. Madeline pulled out a jar from her drawer, but when I asked her to put it on, she looked confused. Why can't you put it on yourself? Because I can't reach it? You do know my birthmark is on my back, right? Of course I know. It's just been a long time, honey. But yes, it's on your back. Lift your shirt, please. Actually, it's on my thigh, and it's the size of Africa. The only way you'd forget that is if you never knew it in the first place. What's gotten into you? Madeline, I know you're not my mom. You've lied about everything. So I really don't have to believe that DNA test either. Okay, I'm not your mom. You caught me. But listen, you did all this for publicity, didn't you? Just so you could tell the world about your long-lost daughter and capture everyone's interest and sell albums? You're a monster. Please, let me explain. I did do it for publicity because it's so hard to stay on top in this industry. But I do love you and I want to have you around. If I did something that helps me and also gives an orphan an amazing life, why is that a bad thing? I'm not your charity case to show off and use to make money. It's late now, but tomorrow morning, I'm going back to the orphanage. I won't lie to anyone about being your daughter. I stormed off to my room before Madeline could say more. She was unbelievable. But the next morning, when I went down with my bags, I saw a doctor leaving Madeline's room, and I found out that she had a high fever. I was sure she was faking that too, but the doctor confirmed that she was down with a bad infection. Belle, please come here. Listen, I'm sorry. Please, don't go. Not like this. Madeline, just get some rest, okay? I'm here. I didn't want to stay, but I just couldn't leave her when she was so sick. The paparazzi were gonna find out when I went back to the orphanage, so I'd let her deal with all that media frenzy once she was better. But I couldn't help calling Miss Vivian, and hearing her voice, I broke down and told her everything. I'm so sorry. You were right about Madeline. Her whole life is a lie, and she pulled me into it. And maybe I never really believed she was my mom, but I wanted to. I don't blame you, Belle. And I was being selfish too, because it was hard to let you go. I can't wait to see you soon. I stayed by Madeline's side till she recovered completely. But as I was packing my stuff again, Madeline walked into my room. Belle, don't leave me, please. You're only saying that because you're worried about your reputation once the truth comes out. Sorry, I can't help you anymore. Then let me make you an offer you can't refuse. I want to feature a duet by you and Juliet on my album releasing next week. And then I'll launch your solo career. The publicity we've received helps us both. With me, you can become a pop star overnight. You'll never get a chance like this again. Trust me. Here Madeline was, handing me my dreams on a silver platter. And it was true. Once I got back to the orphanage, people would forget me soon, and I'd struggle to be a singer. I couldn't really trust her. But Madeline called me and Juliet to the studio the very next day to record a song together. It was the most thrilling experience, and she was blown away by my talent. You have the voice of an angel, darling. You're really gonna go places. The album was released, and it exploded. The duet people thought Madeline and I sang together shot straight to #1 on the charts, and it was all you could hear everywhere. One day, when Madeline and I were at an album signing event, I spotted Miss V in the line and ran to her. Miss V, how have you been? I've been meaning to call. But you got busy becoming a star, right? I'm happy that your dreams are coming true, but are you sure this is how you want it? What do you mean? You said Madeline's whole life was a lie, and now yours is too. You're part of her secret, and you're faking being her daughter. This lie will just grow deeper, and then you'll have to give it up forever. Are you okay doing that? I stood there speechless. I just came to tell you that I got a job in another city, and I'm leaving next month. I wanted to wish you luck and say goodbye. I hope you'll do the right thing, Belle. I know you have that in you. I was bummed out for days after that meeting, and I just couldn't shake off her words. Soon after, Juliet came down with a bad throat infection. It turned out to be laryngitis, and she recovered in a couple of weeks. But the doctor said she could no longer sing, and Madeline went ballistic. What? No, you're fine now. You can speak, right? Why can't you sing? The doctor said straining her vocal cords could damage them forever. But she has to try. I'll take you anywhere to get you treated. Madeline, I've served you for 15 years. I think I'm done, okay? Done? You're done? Have you forgotten our deal and what I can do? What are you talking about? My mother worked as a maid in Madeline's family home, and my brother stole all their precious heirlooms. He'd already sold them by the time he got caught, and he was going to end up in prison for years. But Madeline kept him out, as long as I agreed to be her singing voice. I've been repaying her debt all this time, but I'm just tired now. Juliet, if the robbery happened 15 years ago, she can't charge your brother for that crime anymore. You don't know what you're talking about. And why are you complaining, Juliet? You were just a maid, and I've done so much for you. Just stop. You're a terrible person who'll always find a way to justify every selfish act. Juliet is done with you, and so am I. And so is your career, because you have no talent. And the family you wanted to impress so badly, well, I don't see them around either. Enjoy the rest of your sad, lonely life with your money, because that's what you did everything for. Juliet and I left Madeline for good, and I couldn't get fast enough to the orphanage. Miss V was leaving that day, and I hoped I wasn't too late. I caught her just as she was putting her bags in a cab. Belle? What are you... I did the right thing, Miss V. And wherever you're going, I'm coming with you. I won't take no for an answer. I would like nothing more, love, but what about your career? I'll tell everyone the truth, and then we'll figure it out. I actually have talent, remember? I want to do things the right way, even if it's harder.